What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today, I'm going to react to a video with Officer Tatum reacting to Stephen A. Smith getting upset over Ron DeSantis having people go and check all the books in the schools and see if they have pornography in them and take them out, and something about the CRT where it has I think queer theory or whatnot in there. But before we get into that, let's give you a word from one of our sponsors.
That lit, that slap, it is that one. That everybody talking about this on new drink. They like that's that turn. That lit, that slap, it is that one. That everybody talking about Dizzle new drink. They like
you could Dizzle too. Dizzle is a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave, tequila, French cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Just throw your Dizzle on ice, and it's nice. If you want to order your very own bottle or bottles of Dizzle Premium Luxury Liqueur, go to DizzleBrand.com, click on our locations, click on one of the top 3 website links. Must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. I recommend Emilio's Beverage. Also, below that is actual locations in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas as well. And if you want to get the Dizzle Brand merch, go to DizzleBrand.com, click on Merchandise Store, or go to Etsy.com and search for Dizzle Brand, or go to Etsy.com/shop/Dizzle Brand. That's Etsy.com/shop/Dizzle Brand. All right, let's get into it. Officer Tatum, Stephen A. Smith, Ron DeSantis.
Play this video for Stephen A. Smith. There you go. I want to play the video from Stephen A. Smith because this is, in my opinion, this is, if we can fix this, I think that we will see such a tremendous change in the Black community. If we don't fix this, it's going to continue to be a sad day for a lot of Black people, morally, psychologically, and positionally in America. I'm going to tell you why after we play the clip. Roll Stephen A. Smith's clip.
this ain't about African American studies. This is about securing a base. Ron DeSantis is playing chess. When the hell are we going to join the party? And by we, I mean folks who are paying attention, not falling for the okie doke, not sitting up there acting like, oh my God, this is about something it isn't. Ron DeSantis don't give a damn about African American studies. He gives a damn about winning the presidency. And he's trying to pull off doing just that.
Now, this is what I will say. And thank God for white people. Because if it was for Black people like that, we all be dead and still on a slave ship somewhere. That makes no sense whatsoever. Because if you are intelligent, Stephen A. Smith, and you actually looked at what Ron DeSantis was saying and the objections that he had to the curriculum, you would see that the curriculum isn't conducive to teach Black people this type of history. You're teaching Black people to be victims. You're teaching Black people queer theory. Black people ain't nothing to do. Black history has nothing to do with gender queer theory.
I agree with him 1,000% of what he just said. Black history has nothing to do with gender queer theory. And this is the problem that I've seen with the civil rights movement, of what's held it back and not pushed it forward, is they attach themselves to movements. They let movements convince them that their movements are the same. Like the feminist movement and the civil rights movement is not the same. The rights of a bunch of entitled white women is not the same as civil rights. Then they've let civil rights movement be attached to the gay rights movement. First of all, gay people have exactly the same rights as everybody else in America. So it's complete horseshit and bullshit. So they let it be attached to that. And that's why now you see what he's talking about. They're putting this gender queer theory into critical race theory because they've made them equal movements, the same movements, which they're not. Gay rights and civil rights are two different things, and gays have all the same rights as everybody else. It's completely horseshit. Yeah, man. What does being gay have to do with being black? I'm not black, but I can tell you being gay has nothing to do with being white. So let's keep it moving.
You are not helping black people. But see, Stephen A. Smith it has drank the Kool-Aid that have kept black people down all of these years. Thank God for white people. Like Ron DeSantis, well, Ron DeSantis may be Hispanic. But thank God for people like him because he looking out for the black people. And Stephen A. Smith couldn't care less.
Been a lot of criticism of that move. People saying, this is exactly what we were fearing with the individual freedom bill. I don't know if you or the commissioner could maybe expand a little bit more about.
Sure. I mean, I think so. As you know, in the state of Florida, our education standards not only don't prevent, but they require teaching Black history, all the important things. That's part of our core curriculum. This was a separate course on top of that for advanced placement credit. And the issue is we have guidelines and standards in Florida. We want education, not indoctrination. If you fall on the side of indoctrination, we're going to decline. If it's education, then we will do this course. So when I heard it didn't meet the standards, I figured, yeah, they may be doing serious. It's way more than that. This course on Black history, what's one of the lessons about? Queer theory. Now, who would say that an important part of Black history is queer theory? That is somebody pushing an agenda on our kids. And so when you look to see they have stuff about intersectionality, abolishing prisons, that's a political agenda. And so that's the wrong side of the line for Florida standards. We believe in teaching kids facts and how to think, but we don't believe they should have an agenda imposed on them. When you try to use Black history to shoehorn in queer theory, you are clearly trying to use that for political purposes. Yes, ma'am.
Let me chime in. They said something about abolishing prisons. So what are you going to do with career criminals then? If you're going to abolish prisons, then the only other alternative is just execute them all. Because, I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to buy them a fucking apartment and cook them 3 meals a fucking day, and I mean, come on, man. This is the thing, like in the laws of nature, there wouldn't even be no prison. You would just execute them. It'd be survival of the fittest, kill or be killed, but yeah, what the fuck does being gay have to do with being Black? What does being gay have to do with any race? What does it have to do with being white, Hispanic, Asian? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Let's keep it moving.
It's these people like Stephen A. Smith that hurts the Black community. Because why wouldn't Stephen A. Smith come out with vigor and zeal to say, I don't want it. Y'all need to stop trying to combine LGBTQ with Black civil rights. These are two different things. You don't get to jump on the bandwagon of the.
I gotta stop. Thank you, Paul Pickett podcast. Did I not just say that civil rights has been attached to movements that are not the same, and they've convinced civil rights movements that they're the same? These are exactly the same. Women's rights is the same as civil rights. No, it's not. Gay rights is the same as civil rights. No, it's not. Transgender rights is the same as civil rights. No, it's not. Because transgenderism is make-believe, imaginary, made up. It's a delusion. That's what it is. It's a delusion. Civil rights is reality. I mean, damn, if there's anything, there's any like rights movement that could sit there and say, hey, this is close to the civil rights movement, I would say it's the animal rights movement, where we're slaughtering animals every single day just to eat them. And we're not doing it on our own volition. In the laws of nature, you're supposed to kill your own food. Hunt, kill, skin, cook your own food. But we're so dependent on man's societal structures and laws that we're not independent. Nobody is truly independent. No person is truly independent. I mean, even like homeless people they get food stamps, So yeah, I've always said this, and I've had this discussion with friends of mine that this is a big problem with the civil rights movement. You keep attaching yourself to movements that are not the same. You let these movements convince you that y'all fighting for the same things when they're not. When they're just basically using the civil rights movement to prop up the feminist movement. They're using the civil rights movement to prop up the gay rights movement. They're using the civil rights movement to prop up the transgender rights movement. And gays and transgenders have all the same rights as everybody else. So let's keep it moving. Let's hear what else you got to say.
Struggle of black people, and throw the LGBT on top of that, like being gay was a thing where you couldn't drink out of the same water fountain with a straight person. Man, you and being gay, look, man, people be doing stuff in their home their whole life. There's people right here that got a wife and they gay.
Great point. Have we ever seen the fountains that says gays only and non-gays only? No, you haven't. Have you ever seen like bars where it said no gays allowed? No, it said no blacks allowed, whites only. That's what we've seen. So once again, people have let people convince them that the civil rights movement is the same as the feminist movement, women's rights movement, the gay rights movement, transgender rights, non-binary rights, whatever made up, identity rights they have now. It's not.
Out there sleeping with men. Nobody know what you're doing in your house. You do your own thing. Being black, you can't control it. If they don't like you because you black, your pigmentation cannot be controlled. You didn't have a choice to come out the closet as black. Hey, everybody, I just want you to know I'm black.
Great point.
No, you came out the womb with certain pigmentation. And there was a struggle that ensued.
And you know what?
There was laws against being black.
Let me chime in real quick. That's another problem with society. We label people as black and white. Let me see. Like, see this cap? That's white. You see my skin? It's not exactly white. Tatum is not exactly black. We gotta stop labeling people as black and white. We're the human race, and that's it. We're humans. And then you got, or the mammal. We're part of the mammal race. Like, that's the thing. We need to stop throwing these labels, these color labels on things. White, black, brown, yellow. I mean, like, we call people yellow skin, and nobody's skin is yellow. Like, so yeah, that's one problem. Like, stop putting labels on skin colors.
In the Jim Crow,
we're all the same race.
So don't jump on the bandwagon and act like we've been struggling together this whole time. No, it's not true. And your struggle is a choice.
Good point.
In my opinion, your struggle is a choice.
It's a choice.
You have a choice if you lay up with a man or not.
That's a choice.
It doesn't matter what you like. It doesn't matter what look good to you. You choose to lay up with something that look good to you. You don't have to.
Facts.
They're like men. If you're a married man, you may see a woman that's way finer than your wife. That don't mean you gotta sleep with her. That don't mean you gotta go down that path. Maybe you ain't married, and you a man.
I gotta chime in. This is where me and Tatum really disagree. I'm not a Christian guy. I'm not a godly guy. I believe in the laws of nature. This idea that the manosphere has of like women lose value the more men they sleep with. Maybe from a relationship standpoint of view, because the way we look at things, but like in the laws of nature, there's no such thing as cheating. There's just procreating. You think a male dog looks, sits there and thinks before he humps a female dog and sits there and says, I wonder how many dogs she's been with before me. No, they don't. And most of the time when we're having sexual intercourse with women, we don't sit there and think about how many dudes that she slept with. We only think about that when we get into a relationship with them. So I don't agree with the manosphere that women typically lose their value just because they slept with a bunch of men, because we're supposed to procreate. That's what we're supposed to do. That's just a man-made concept up. I'm kind of like Nick Cannon with this shit. You just procreate and that's it. You don't, we're not supposed to be in relationships. Those are man-made things. We're supposed to just procreate and that's it. All other male mammals, they pregnate the female and they're off out and about. They never see their cubs or the female again, probably. They don't, other mammals don't have to be fathers to their cubs because their mom protects them and feeds them for a short period of time, unlike humans who got to be taken care of for a long period of time. Let's keep it moving on.
And you in college? I was in college. I know what it is. And you a whole bunch of women and everybody having a good time. That don't mean you have to participate in it. It really don't.
I mean, he's right.
Think about the Catholic priests. They are celibate. They don't even have.
They're also stupid. They're also stupid.
They dedicate themselves to the church.
They're stupid.
Now, some of them, they be dealing, but for the most part,
he's right.
The Catholic Church Catholic priests make a decision to say, I can decide whether I want to do that or not. The thoughts in your mind, I would argue that you would have to confine the thoughts in your mind.
Purpose of man is not to not procreate. The purpose of the male species is to procreate. This idea that your purpose in life is to not procreate, that's once again some man-made up bullshit.
And think of things that are of God, think of things that are holy. But if you have a temptation to do something or you have an attraction to somebody, that don't mean you have to abide by it. That don't mean you have to pursue it. People got all kind of weird attractions.
I've heard enough, man. I definitely agree with Tatum on the Stephen A. Smith thing. Stephen A. Smith's a little misinformed, miseducated. What the hell does being gay or transgender have to do with being black? I'm not black, but I can tell you it has nothing to do with it, because it has nothing to do with being white or Asian or Hispanic. And that's the thing. Gays have been around for probably hundreds of thousands of years. Man is probably, and women have probably been gay ever since we hit a certain population point, We probably, that's been common in society forever. It's just been frowned on. And even the laws of nature frowns on it because it's not the natural order of laws, It doesn't. That's one thing that religion and the laws of nature do agree on is, homosexuality and being lesbians and is not the natural order of things. Because if it was, then women could procreate with women and men could procreate with men. That's all the common sense you should need. And no, gender is not a social construct because mankind does not dictate sex or gender. The laws of nature do. Mother Nature dictates this shit, Yeah. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast. And I'm out. Peace.